Hi, all of you. Yeah, thank you for your questions and your processes that you're sharing. So I'm happy to answer um, them, and I have combined some also um, because, as always, it's a fit. Yeah, I can only recommend to send your question. Not all people did yet, but I think we have to get used to it, so that's perfectly okay. Yeah. Um, Here, conflicts within a family. Conflicts within a family have generally to do with two aspects. It is place, yeah, or it is that we are fighting for the love, meaning of our parents, caretakers of our environment, in the form of the basic needs. Yeah, who gets more attention? And I think we all know that when you have children yourself, then you all know how that actually always is with our children. We have forgotten those processes, perhaps also not, but often we did. But we can see that in others. It's always like, I always have to do that, and this one is never, this kind of fighting, yeah, fighting with each other, that you seemingly are giving preferences to one of your children. So this is very common, yeah, and we have also experienced that. So problems in the family, it is very often here in the topic of having a place. Also from Hellinger, from Constellation, we do know that having a place, yeah, is an essential thing. It's all about, consolation. The word already says that, yeah. Consolation. What is my place in the family? And when we do constellations, then we correct it, because there is an order within a family. There is a hierarchy within a family, and there is a loyalty also, yeah. But here we are going about the place, the position within your family. And when that position is kind of out of order, yeah, meaning what could be out of order in a position? In one of the examples of a participant, yeah, was saying like, there is always kind of tension, and I feel uncomfortable with it. The person seems to punish me or something like that, yeah. What can be happening is that your positioning wasn't okay. And how could that be? Now, the positioning has to do with that you, for example, very often when you are, let me say, the firstborn, yeah, when you're the firstborn child, you always kind of are in the position that you should be the smarter one. You should be the one who knows, yeah. You are always the one who has to be more responsible, yeah. You are put into a position as if you are really not on the same level with your siblings, yeah, but that you are above them. In constellation, you are also above them, but you're not responsible for them. And that is very often what happens with the firstborn. The firstborn has a tendency to be put in front line, yeah. So, and that means there is a disorder, because for the siblings you are same, yeah. You are not responsible for the other person. You're not responsible that the other person doesn't cry or that he gets his thing or something like that. You're not, yeah. And the moment you are made responsible for a certain for a sibling, then you actually feel that it is not okay. And also the sibling feels that you are taking a position which is not yours. And that's very essential. So both of you are put into a position that is not yours. And it feels, that someone wants to overpower you. He wants to take something about you, or want to abuse you and stuff like that. Yeah? So, and that can, you remember the power struggle is very, very tense there, You don't want to give in. You don't want to give the other one what he actually asks you to do, yeah. So you ignore, or you fight back, or you criticize, or you tell someone else what to do. So you don't want to be overpowered. And this overpowering comes because of this positioning that you mistakenly, between brackets mistakenly, because we know it's all forming, but that you took. And this the family is always the hardest place to have a certain trait move towards the enrichment. So this is then also what I want to ask you, like, how do you react at this very moment on it? How do you deal with that critical situation? What are you doing? What is the behavior? And this is now very important, what would you do in such a situation when it would not be your sibling? When it would be just any person, any person can be also a friend, so not a stranger perhaps, but you can also take a stranger, someone you are just an acquaintance or something like that. How would you then act? How would you deal with that situation then? And just try to really get into it. How would you do it? And how do you do it now? How do you act now? Do you want to avoid it? Do you also have a small power struggle? How do you do your power struggle? Do you force the other one towards a reaction? Be it consciously, subconsciously, that you complain about it, or you just leave it and then the energy is changing. So how do you now deal with it? And then see, is it the same behavior or is it different in the essence? When you would, for example, in a certain situation, you would like to talk to that person when something happens which is not as you think it's okay for you, then you would like just normally talk and say, oh, you might not have known, but this is like, for me, it's a bit difficult, so I could really appreciate if you could do this or that. And then when you would say like this, and when you, for example, in the behavior where the tension is there in the family, you have to talk about it. You feel the urge, I must do something about it. I have to tell her or him, so I have to say something about it. I can't accept it like that, So, but both of them, is that you take your place and that you share, about of how it is for you and what you would like to have. So you share your need and your desire, But in the one situation, in a developed situation, you would just do it with a free outcome. It's a question, not more than that, And the other one, it's a demand, it's a demand, and that is fire and oil on the power struggle, of course, So how to deal with it? I still will repeat the exercise of integrating a certain trait, but you could do that. You could integrate the trait. That means, how do you do that? How do you do your power struggle? If it is two different traits, like how you would do it with a person you're not emotionally involved with at all, and how you deal with it in this situation. And when you see it's clearly two different kind of behaviors, you might want to develop both behaviors, or at least the one how you deal with it where it is destructive, the other one when it does not have to do with it and it's working fine with you, for you, then you don't have to do anything about it. But if you would like to, then the other one where it is not yet working. So the integration exercise with these sentences, you could do with it, with that exact behavior, how you now deal with it. And you could also have a look doing the other exercise that you have this week, and that is to look into what kind of assumption could here be helpful, and to do the integration exercise on that level, so that you are strengthening the observer in it, or you can do both. Another one is that when you don't have a place, when you have, for example, the idea for yourself that you really don't really know what is your need, what is it, you're not in touch with it, you don't know what your needs are. And that also often is related to the place, because when there is no safe environment for you, these first three developmental stages, these first three gifts in it, you cannot 100% separate them, But when you don't have a place, where you feel safe, then, or where you at all, you don't feel the place, you kind of how to say that? You don't feel grounded in it. Yeah, then you also wouldn't know whom to ask. To whom do I direct my request? To whom my needs? Yeah, and then very often we don't really have contact with what is important to us, to our needs. Yeah, so what is really what I want? And that is because you are not yet really landed. Yeah, we said also being grounded. Yeah, so having a place is also like, I really came down here. I am here. I have a place. This is where I belong. Yeah, and in this belonging, we look around and we see like, where can I get what I need? And it's not really like that we look around. And generally, as babies and small children, we start crying, and we hope that someone comes. Yeah, but we only do that when we are feeling that we are really there, and that not being fully in your body makes also, being in your body, feeling your body, and we still come more in detail with it in a later developmental stage. Yeah, is also making that you don't know what you actually really need because you do not sense yourself so well. But also here, this is not a mistake, it's a trait. Yeah, so you are not designed in a way to be very, very sensitive on your needs. You are probably much better in order to sensing other people's needs. What do they need? Yeah, probably you also are very good in, or let me say, it's a big joy to serve. Yeah, it's a big joy to have someone else happy. Yeah, so and it is here not important out of what kind of situation that comes. Yeah, so here again you look at the trait that comes out of it. How do you now deal with it that you have no needs, that you don't know your needs well? Yeah, and dissatisfaction. Yeah, the dissatisfaction comes still forth out of the fear that your needs are not provided. Yeah, but you are not, and that's very important. You are not a baby. Yeah, you don't have needs in that case that are of life importance. Yeah, all the needs in a grown-up person, are having the capacity to be enriching, but they don't have to be there. So when you're a person not in touch with your needs, not really in touch with it, but your focus is external, then this is also part of your nature. And the moment that you can really embrace that, and the moment that you are okay with it, then you also can feel the satisfaction in it. In our environment, especially personal development environment, it is like you need to know your needs, you need to be in contact with your needs, as if we are all the same people, but we are not. We are not. Sometimes it's just your need, to serve, and that is your main thing. And when you feel, that this is me, and you really welcome it, then you can also enjoy it, and you can also develop it further. Because when you are satisfying other people's needs, not your own, you're satisfying other people's needs. When you develop that, then you don't fulfill an instant need of someone, in order to fear, to kind of let go of your fear of being rejected and stuff like that, or that something might happen, in case the other one isn't okay. So the desire of wanting others to be okay is that because we have suffered when they weren't okay, so we made it our mission to make other people happy so that we can be safe. Or that we can stay. Also bring it back to the place so that we can stay. So here again, what is the behavior? How do you do that? And to develop that further, because when you develop that further, you don't have to fulfill instant needs, and your wisdom and your intuition get space. How can you serve the other person consciously? And that is not like when the other person says, I want A, then you jump and do everything so that the person gets A, because you're fearing that the person might direct his negative energy towards you. So, and then it takes a very different kind of form, and then you can also feel the enrichment within it. So if you cannot really feel your needs, that's okay. That is how you're wired. It's actually for the personal development not such a bad thing not to know, because wanting to satisfy your needs, the needs, the basic needs, or the needs of the first developmental stage, is actually staying in the fear-based motivation, so that you don't have that access to it so much, is actually also very good. Makes it easier to move towards enrichment. Yeah, but still, the behavior as you show it now, take that behavior and develop that behavior further.